Good morning from beautiful Santa Monica, California. And I say beautiful very lightly because California is definitely not so beautiful anymore. But the reason I'm making this video is because my wife and I are here celebrating our 4-year anniversary. We got married 4 years ago on July 4th. And we drove up to California to get close to where we originally got married, which was in Laguna Beach. And what's interesting is I got married at 25 years old. And I was making about 30K a month by myself at that time with my agency. I wasn't taking it too seriously. Before meeting my wife, I was having a lot of fun. For about a year, I was going on plenty of dates, talking to plenty of women, and enjoying myself. And then it got to a point where I had to realize that if I wanted to actually build a successful business, I needed to get serious. And what's interesting is, the moment I made that decision and I got clear on exactly what I wanted in my ideal relationship, I read a book called How to Be a 3% Man by Coach Corey Wayne. You may have heard me talk about this book in the past, and if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a young professional and a man who wants to build a legacy, who wants to get really good at dating, who wants to meet their ideal relationship and learn how to become a 3% man. And so I read that book, and then after I read that book, I ended up following the exercise that he talks about in that book, where he says, write down every single thing you want in your ideal relationship. Exactly who you want, exactly what she looks like, exactly how she acts, what she values, exactly, right? Be very descriptive. So I wrote down everything that I wanted, and I had about 30 plus things, about 37 things or so, all from like looks to character traits to family values to a bunch of different things. Now, what was interesting is I did all that, and in the book he says that you won't find someone who's perfect, right? You're not going to find someone who's everything that you want. And so you want to circle your top 10 must-have, cannot live without. And so I ended up doing that. I circled my top 10. I'll put a picture of my whiteboard that I had at the time on the screen for you so you can see it, what my top 10 must-have, cannot live withouts were. And what's interesting is 2 months later, I ended up coming across Jennifer on Tinder. And a lot of people wouldn't be as open, honest, and transparent about that. And I used to sort of hide it as well and talk about how we met on social media. But the reality is I had met her on Tinder, and I didn't meet her on Tinder. But what happened was I come across her profile on Tinder, and because I was so crystal clear on what I was looking for, who I was looking for, and what I wanted in my ideal relationship, when I saw her profile on Tinder, my reticulator activating system, which is basically your law of attraction magnet in your mind, if you will, immediately noticed her. And I saw her Instagram in her bio, and I immediately went to Instagram and I followed her. And she ended up following me back. And after she followed me back, I ended up messaging her. I sent her a video just like I am filming a video right now saying hi, and we should grab a drink sometime to see if we get along. We ended up going out, having an amazing time together, and within the first date, I knew she was about 9 out of the 10 things that I had on my top 10 list, must-have, cannot live withouts. She checked about 9 out of the 10 boxes. And within the next 2 dates, she ended up checking all 10 boxes, which was pretty surreal. And so within the first basically 2 months of dating, I already knew that she was literally the person I was asking for, the person I was looking for. And within 3 months, we got married. And I say that because most people think I'm insane, including my friends and my family, when I did that. They all thought I was crazy. I thought I was a little bit crazy, but hey, life's all about taking risks, and commit first, figure the rest out later. Now, what's interesting is at that time, again, I was, making about 30K a month with my agency, not taking it too seriously, having a lot of fun, part-time business, part-time lifestyle. But I knew if I wanted to build a legitimate company, build a team, and build a legitimate legacy, I had to get serious about my life, my business, and my wife. And so I ended up marrying her within 3 months of knowing her. And 4 years later, we're now celebrating, or we just celebrated, our 4-year anniversary here in California. After I married her, though, I ended up hitting my first 7-figure month, my first 7-figure year in my business. And it was directly because I ended up getting married. Seriously. Again, I was making 20 to 30K a month by myself, having a lot of fun, but I knew if I wanted to build a legitimate company, I had to get serious. And so I ended up meeting her, getting married to her. The next year, within 1 calendar year of marrying her, we ended up doing 7 figures as an agency. And I ended up buying my now infamous Rolex Day-Day Presidential, all gold, 40 millimeter, that I always wear. And so I got married, and a year later, I ended up making 7 figures. I become, a millionaire. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts, right? And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because a lot of people nowadays will talk about how marriage is stupid. You hear guys, that got famous, obviously, like Andrew Tate and all these people, and they have to say those things because they obviously want to be very controversial. They want to stand out in the algorithm. They want to go viral. But I'm here to tell you that if you're a man and you want to build a legacy and you want to have a family and you want to bring back those family values that I know, for example, I model my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side of the family who've been married they were married for 60 plus years. They got married when they were in their, teens and 20s, and they stayed together forever until they passed away. And I witnessed that. I witnessed my grandpa pass away, and then 2 weeks later, my grandma passed away because she was waiting for him to go first. And they stayed married forever. They had, 5 beautiful kids. Obviously, I was a grandson of one of those. And just looking up to them and realizing that's what I wanted in my life. And I had to get serious. And so I got serious about who I wanted. I wrote it down. I got clear on it. The universe, God, whatever you believe in, gave it to me exactly how I wanted it. Maybe not exactly when I wanted it, but exactly what I was looking for. And it said, here you go. Just like any goal in life. And a lot of people will tell you, nowadays, or you'll hear, I should say, don't get married, or, be careful and all this stuff. And, I don't have it all figured out. You guys know that. But I've done one thing right. And that one thing is investing in myself and investing in my partner, Jennifer. She's been amazing for me. She loves me unconditionally. She keeps up with me. She puts up with me. She's very patient with me, especially being a young entrepreneur, a business owner, a CEO, someone who's very bullish, very fast, very quick to get emotional, right? Because I have a lot of goals, I have a lot of dreams, and it's very important that you meet someone that can actually keep up with you and respect you and respect your time, respect your dedication, respect your craft. And it's been a wild ride. Since getting married to her, we've done, obviously 7 figures in revenue, and we've grown year over year. And it's directly because I got focused and serious on who I wanted and who I was marrying. And as a result, I cut all the ties with going out and drinking, partying, meeting a bunch of random chicks, hooking up with random people, and, just getting serious about who I wanted. And so the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because a lot of people will say, don't get married, focus on yourself. And that's very true. You should do that. You should experience a lot of things. You should have some fun. I did. It was very fun. But it got to a point where I felt empty. It got to a point where I didn't feel good about myself. It got to a point where I knew I had to get serious about myself and my life and my business. And I did. So I wrote down everything I wanted. 2 months later, saw her, dated her, pulled the trigger. And 4 years later, we committed first and figure the rest out later. And we're still figuring it out. But we committed. And that's the principle I want to teach you right now. Commit first, figure the rest out later. A lot of people will tippy-toe into their relationships. A lot of people will tippy-toe into their business. A lot of people will tippy-toe into their clients' acquisition and all these different business tactics. But the principle that allowed me to become successful was committing first and figuring the rest out later. Because just like I committed to Jennifer, and I said, you know what? We're 3 months in. This looks good on paper. It checks all the boxes. You check all my boxes. We seem to be a good fit for each other. I could either take this because the universe, God, whatever you believe in, literally handed it to me exactly how I asked for it, or I could wait because it's too soon. I could wait because it's not exactly how I wanted it. It's not exactly when I wanted it. I still kind of want to have fun. I still kind of want to enjoy my, 25-year-old life at that time. I still kind of don't want to get married. I could have done that, but I didn't. I said, okay, what's the worst that happens? We do this, it doesn't work out, we learn from it, makes for a good story. Okay, if that's the worst that can happen, then let's try it, right? But the other worst that can happen is I don't do it and I regret it, because years later I think about, she's exactly what I was asking for, but I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't commit. Maybe I would always regret it. Maybe I would go from relationship to relationship to relationship, just chasing this empty thing because it wasn't the right thing. She was the right thing. So I committed first and figured the rest out later. And 4 years later, here we are celebrating our 4-year anniversary on July 4th. And living the dream. My dream right now. I always used to dream about this. Having the business, having the team, having the wife, having the family, being able to travel to places like this, enjoy experiences like this. So what are you avoiding in your life right now? What are you avoiding in your business that you should commit to? Maybe it's that team member you want to hire. Maybe it's that new business you want to start. Maybe it's that person that you think could be your future partner, your future spouse, your future wife, but you're not committing to it. I want you to commit today. Commit today and take action. Because what's the worst that can happen? You either win or you learn. A lot of people nowadays don't want to commit. They're scared. There's too many options out there. Social media has fried our brains, man. You see all these different girls on Instagram. You see all these different business opportunities on YouTube. You see all these different influencers teaching you how to make money. You just can't commit to one because you're so overwhelmed with all the opportunity that you just can't focus. Marrying my wife, Jennifer, is what allowed me to focus, and it's allowed me to scale my business. And maybe that's not the most, appreciated advice nowadays, but again, model who you want to live your life after. I'm modeling my marriage after my grandparents who stayed married for 60 plus years and literally died together. I want that. I want that kind of family. I want that kind of marriage. I want that kind of love. I want that kind of legacy. I want that kind of role model for my kids as well. So what are you not committing to? What are you tippy-toeing around? What are you overwhelmed with? What are you chasing? Commit first. Figure the rest out later, because I guarantee you, when you apply that principle to your life, to your business, to your relationships, to everything, you'll grow exponentially. Within 1 year of getting married, we hit 7 figures. Why? Because I got focused, I got serious. And so, let me know what you're gonna commit to today in the comments below. And let me know if you like this style of video too. I like these. They're real, they're raw, they're off the cuff, and they're easy to film. Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. And by the way, if you want to watch the video where I literally show you the exercise of how I did the how to be a 3% man, 30 plus things, and I show you my journal, because it's all documented, by the way. My entire life's documented. Click the video right here. I'll walk you through the exercise step by step if you want to meet your ideal relationship, meet your ideal partner. This is exactly what I did to meet my wife, which allowed me to manifest her. I literally manifested her within 2 months. Click this video and I'll see you there.